many of the pastimes of Krishna. A small portion of them are given in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam only. Each of these pastimes, which is given, is quite significant, quite important, especially for the progressive devotee. Although the 10th canto, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, is highly positioned, sometimes people call it the Paramahansa canto, it is for the most elevated. Nonetheless, things are placed there and positioned there for our improvement and to generate and further and prosper our proper understanding. But Krishna's pastimes are not completely given here in the Bhagavatam, but they are only partially presented. For example, I never really counted them, but there are 10, 15, 20 demons are killed in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Actually, Krishna is killing 10 or 20 demons every day for 16 years, almost continuous. He's killing hundreds and hundreds of demons in Vṛndāvana, which are coming to destroy. He's killing so many, but some of the big ones are mentioned. The rasa dance is described in Bhagavatam, and this is the place of the rāsa-līlā. This Vṛndāvana is all part of what is called the rāsa-līlā, place of rāsa-līlā. And here, a few meters away, lies the Katyayani temple. So across this place where our ashram was built, so many gopis came from all directions to pray to Goddess Katyayani, to get Kṛṣṇa as their beloved, as their husband. And the Bansi Bhat is just over here to the left, a few hundred meters away. So the call is announced for the rasa-līlā. But this rasa-līlā, although presented in the Bhagavatam, is only the general rasa-līlā. In terms of ras, its greatest feature is that in this rasa-līlā, for all the world to know, the greatness of Srimati Rādhārāṇī is proclaimed by her chief competitor. Maharaj wrote one article sometime back in a Gaudiya magazine, and he presented that sloka in Bhagavatam where the gopis are saying that, oh, here we see that Krishna is now with one. That one must be the best of all. And this verse then proclaims that the one that is with Krishna is the best of all. And it is said there that who spoke this was Srimati Candrāvalī, who is in the Lila a competitor, opposition camp. But she has now proclaimed above all stands the supremacy of Srimati Rādhārāṇī. But there is rasa-līlā at Govardhana. That is more select group. That is not mentioned in Bhagavatam. Although it is said, Govardhana is a site, Govardhana is the place, and he has seen so much rasa-līlā. So rasa-līlā is performed there, but that is more selected than the rasa-līlā, which is participated in by all in this area. And then there is also rasa-līlā at Rādhā-kuṇḍa. That is the most selected. That is the most selected. That is a very intimate group. That is not for all. That is for a chosen few. So, in the connection of the rasa, the jiva's participation in the rasa, one particular meaning that we can draw from this pastime, or understand from this pastime, by the grace of our acharyas, is that Govardhana is the shelter of Govardhana Hill is the necessity of all. Without taking shelter of Govardhana, one cannot approach rasa-līlā. One cannot approach any position of intimacy within the realm of Krishna. The shelter of Govardhana is necessity for all. All those who aspire for Braja Bhakti, Govardhana is the supreme shelter. Śrīpad Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, he compiled this Stavali. And in the Stavali, after offering his obeisances to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and writing his Manashiksha and his general appeal, then Das Goswami appeals for the shelter of Govardhana Hill. After appealing for the shelter of Govardhana Hill, he then makes prayers for residents at Govardhana Hill. The meaning being that for a Gaudiya Vaishnava, a follower of Sri Rupa Goswami, Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, shelter of Govardhana Hill must be sought by all, and the eternal place of residence for those who are blessed enough to receive a place in the Lord's eternal pastimes. They are where? They are at Govardhana Hill. Our sampradāya stems from Govardhana. Govardhana is, in one aspect, is the Supreme Deity in our sampradāya, and all of our acharyas, they are from that village in Kṛṣṇa Līla. Sometimes the sahajas, they'll ask, has your guru given you your eternal place of residence? Has he, have they given some special mantra about your swarup? They're always inquiring. Huh?
Ekadas Bhava.
11 points. The very big point is your place of residence. Have they given you your place of service? They will ask like this. And very proudly we go, yes, they haven't given. They're shocked because generally the devotee will say, no, we don't follow that. I said, no, they have given. Then they will say, what is that? Then they will say, you don't appear to be the type of man who will have the qualification to understand such a thing. But here it is disclosed to all. The shelter is Govardhana, the eternal residence of Govardhana is Govardhana, and the place of our service, not residence, the highest place of our service, the highest aspiration possible to achieve, with all blessings and all perfection, is to aspire for the service of the Lord at Rādhā-kuṇḍa. The highest place of aspiration. It is a defect, it is a folly, and it is a great mistake to build your ashram with bricks and mud and attach bathrooms to your rooms in Govardhana, in Rādhā-kuṇḍa. It is a big mistake. Then what do you aspire for? Now you're taking residence in Govardhana. Now you're doing flippy-flop nam-bhajan, waking up with diarrhea and passing stool 6 times in a day. You may be vomiting also. What is your bhajan? Rādhā-kuṇḍa. But not understanding Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, he resided there, seemingly resided there on what? On the call. He did not reside there. He is a resident of Govardhana, but he has been called there personally by Srimati Rādhārāṇī, and he is performing bhajan at Rādhā-kuṇḍa, and he can behold the crystal bridge between Janadidat and Lalita Kund in the middle of Rādhā-kuṇḍa. He can see that bridge. And I say, if you can see that bridge, you can also sit down here and live at Rādhā-kuṇḍa and do mountain bhajan. But if you cannot see that bridge, you're no fit person to be there because you're not called there. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also said like that. Taking the humble position, he said, I'm not fit to live at, he said, we're not fit to reside at Rādhā-kuṇḍa. Our gurus, and he's telling Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sometimes resided there. Someone is reading Bhaktivinoda Thakur and they're getting sometimes bewilderment or at least some wonder how he's talking about so many things in the āśrama and the pranali plane. There's no way of progress. He is there. He is a descended resident of the spiritual world. Sometimes we hear Mahāprabhu and his men, and they're doing kirtan. They're doing this ras kirtan. And they're sometimes imitating the play of Vṛndāvana. If you do that as nonsense, you spoil your life. And someone said, well, how they can do that? Well, Bubba, that's who they are. That's where they come from. And they have such sweet remembrance, and they have such sweet ability. How Ramananda Roy, he's taking care of the Devi Dasis. He is not a man. Who was it? He's lovely? No. Vishaka. He is Vishakta. He's not a man. He has no man consciousness. So they are descended residents. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he can reside. Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, he can reside. They can reside. They have got the call. They are from the intimate group of the Lord's eternal servants. They can reside there. We should never reside. We should go there with the most humility, reverence also. Don't think that, we're above reverence, awe and reverence. This is for the lower section. This is for those Vaikuṇṭha bhaktas. No, when you go to Rādhā-kuṇḍa, you must go with awe and reverence for that place. Great reverence for that place. We have given up a certain type of reverence. We're going to give up all reverence because we are in the lower platform. And not just by our humility. Actually, we are lower. So, the shelter is Govardhana. The shelter for all. In our sampradāya, Mahāprabhu gave govardhana-śilā to Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, and he realized there, Mahāprabhu has given here my eternal place of residence. We're the followers of Raghunātha Dāsa. Where are we from? Are we from Rahul? Are we from this place called Shakistali? Shakistali is for the followers of Candrāvalī. And from which place? Where are we from? What is our place? So that is given to us as Govardhana. Our shelter and our residence, our highest aspiration of service is the service of the Lord, according to His beck and call, or according to her beck and call, Srimati Rādhārāṇī's call, service there. So Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī made these very nice prayers. Many devotees feel the translation of here is a little bit lacking, but nonetheless one can begin to catch some of the gist. So there are 10, Maharaj, with your permission I can read these. 10 prayers. Appeal of Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī for the shelter of Govardhana Hill. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, the best of mountains, the friend of Gokula, the charming bumblebee that for 7 days stood on the graceful whorl of the lotus flower of Lord Krishna's hand and protected grudge from the mouth of the Indra crocodile running a great monsoon. What pious person will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, whose peak is the place of pastimes of Lord Krishna, the master of the Sarabi cows, and near which is the blissful Govinda-kuṇḍa, where a Sarabi cow, followed by a humbled Indra, bearing the waters of the celestial Ganges, bathed Lord Krishna and secretly crowned him king of the Sarabi cows. What pious person will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, which is glorified by the great sages, and which is encircled by the lakes of Shri-kuṇḍa, Brahma-kuṇḍa, Hara-kuṇḍa, Apsara-kuṇḍa, Priyakara-kuṇḍa, and Sri-dhana-kuṇḍa, which are splendid with the happiness of pure love and more dear to Lord Hari than the celestial Ganges and a host of other sacred places. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, which is charming with cows, deer, birds, and trees, and which is the place where the lakes of Jyotish Mokshana-kuṇḍa, Malaya-kuṇḍa, Hara-kuṇḍa, Sumana-kuṇḍa, Gauri-kuṇḍa, Bala Vṛndāvana-kuṇḍa, Gandharva-kuṇḍa, and many other lakes, many swiftly flowing mountain streams, many lion thrones for amorous pastimes, many places for Lord Hari's other pastimes, and the cowherd boy, Lord Hari. All these things are at Govardhana. But what do we see when we go to Govardhana? All these things are splendidly manifest. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill? Raghunātha Dāsa Gosvāmī, he's right in there. He's at Govardhana Hill. We're in the proximity. What he's describing. What do you say when we will go there? Oh, how glorious that Govardhana Hill. A few peacocks are there, a few Neel guys, one or two small coons. Now, see his vision. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill? He who always devotedly carries on his bowed head the lake of Śrīmad, which is millions of times greater than the Ganges, and which was born from the foot of Lord Kṛṣṇa, becomes more dear to the Lord than even the demigod Shiva. He who in the same way carries the jewel known as Rādhā-kuṇḍa attains the full mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa. He becomes the most dear and glorious devotee. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, where the divine couple enjoy their rescue-free pastimes, where the Manasa-ganga flows? And the Manasa-ganga, the pilot Madhava, took sweetly beautiful Sri Radha on his boat, and when she, frightened by a great storm, prayed that he calm the storm, he claims for her as a rescue fee, the fulfillment of his amorous desires. Ah, what a pious person will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, the beautiful and transcendental place of rasa dance, and where Sri Radha, accompanied by her beautiful friends, worshipped by hundreds of goddesses of fortune, and the splendid nectar-armed Lord Kṛṣṇa, playfully resting on her neck, dances in the springtime rasa-līlā. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, where, blossoming with happiness at the outrageous joking words of their friends, perpetually wounded by the swift arrows shot from the corners of their cruel, smiling eyes, and laughing at the crooked words of the ever-new Dhanakali quarrel, the youthful divine couple displayed so many transcendental pastimes. Who will not take shelter of graceful and auspicious Govardhana Hill, where, accompanied by Sri Dham and his other friends, playing with Shankar Shan and carefully herding the cows, Lord Kṛṣṇa happily sings Re Re, and where Lord Kṛṣṇa enjoys amorous pastimes with Radha in the rasa dance, rasa arena, and deep in the hidden caves. What is this Re Re? Re Re. Must be a raga, certain types of raga, Timantahol and this, carrying very many melodies. Who will not take shelter of Govardhana Hill, the crowned king of all mountains? For the people of Braja's sake, Lord Mukunda neglected the sun god's daughter Yamuna, the host of other lofty hills, the wish-fulfilling forest of Vṛndāvana, and the town of Nandeshwar, and respectfully worshipped Govardhana Hill. By the mercy of Govardhana Hill, these 10 beautiful verses about Govardhana Hill, which grant residence at Govardhana Hill, have come from the mouth of a blind old man. The pleasure of Govardhana Hill, which is my life and soul, and which is the beautiful jewel mine of transcendental virtues, is the ripe fruit I seek from my labor in writing these verses. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Das Swami Prabhu Ki Jai.